So last week, I believe it was last Tuesday, November 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. Um, actually November 2nd, it was determined that Aaron Rodgers, quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, tested positive for COVID 19. In August, when asked about whether or not he would be getting vaccinated, he answered, and I quote, "Yes, I've been immunized." But in that answer, one, he was kind of evading the question because he never really acknowledged, he never really answered yes or no about the actual vaccination. Did you get the COVID-19 vaccine? He played a game of he played a game of semantics with people and they bought it. They fell for it. Well, it
Hmm.
turns out that not only was he not vaccinated, he was taking some off-brand drug that he got the idea from Joe Rogan of all people, and he tried to get the NFL to approve this drug that he was taking and have that count as him having a vaccination shot. To which the NFL said, no. So my question to you all, first and foremost, when he said, "Yes, I've been immunized," was he lying?
I just got to answer. I'm sorry. Hell yeah, he was lying because he said the question was. Well, let me play this video. Let me just play the video.
Please play the clip.
Let me just play it.
Yes.
Please.
Let me just play it.
Are you vaccinated?
Yeah, I've been immunized. There's guys on the team that haven't been vaccinated. I think it's a personal decision. I'm not going to judge those guys.
All right, so his question was, have you taken the vaccine? That's the question. He says, yeah, I've been immunized.
I've
So
been
just by saying yeah alone, he said he was
Confirmed.
immunized.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
notice how quickly he did the pivot, right? He quickly turned it off himself. He answered the question about himself. Yes, I've been immunized. But then when he started talking or speaking about his teammates, that's when he used the word vaccine. Yeah, I know there, some of my teammates on the team haven't been vaccinated. I think it's a personal choice. Well, hold up. Come on now. You didn't use the V word when you were talking about you. So why
You
are you
did.
now
Such a
putting
Yeah.
the blame
bullshitter,
on your
man.
teammates?
Go ahead, Robbie.
Well, he's a smart guy. I mean, I really don't know much about Aaron Rodgers, but as I was researching this story, I came to found that this is someone who is considered to be an intelligent guy, and his wordplay in this instance was deliberately deceitful. And I just want to put Aaron Rodgers on blast. There are only three synonyms for the word immunize. They are inoculate, protect, and vaccinate.
He's still giving
Mm.
middle
Absolutely.
finger.
And if you are deliberately deceiving people with your words, you are lying to them. So, did you lie? Hell yes, you did. And you need to be called out for it. You were absolutely deliberately deceitful.
Jacqueline Robinson says he was
It's,
evasive and vague. If he did a Kirk Cousins, that's one thing, but he was deceitful and fell into some quackery, blaming the woke mob and league for his consequences go to for certain people. Yet, unlike Colin Kaepernick, old boy still has his job. Yanni?
Two things. First, he's a liar and a snake, and I don't like that. The difference between him and Kyrie is that Kyrie at least owned it and didn't try to hide it. Like Liz said, with semantics and
So,
words and
so for our
wordplay.
listeners, Kyrie Irving, we've talked about him in the past, and he's the basketball player who refuses to get the vaccine. Go ahead, Gianni.
Right. So I don't like that he just was afraid to face consequence or backlash or retaliation. I don't know what he was afraid of, but um, that was. I don't think that reason alone is why he should face any consequence. I think it's because he actually did put people in danger, and then also people around him. I think Tim Tebow said something, but
Ugh.
he said a lot.
Tim
But
Tebow.
basically,
he said a lot.
but
Yeah.
basically, he did. He said a lot. But he was basically kind of saying the coaches around him were liars too. If you're gonna blame him, blame the people around him. What do you guys think of that? Because I didn't really
So
understand.
so you think the
Deflection,
NFL or the
deflection,
team?
deflection.
What do we think that the NFL or team holds any responsibility, or is this all on
Responsibility,
Rodgers, Lizzie?
Rogers. Yeah.
I don't know exactly what I can't say wholeheartedly or definitively because I don't know exactly what the team, the coaches, and the NFL knew, but it begs the question, did they know, especially if he was petitioning to get them to count this other injection, this other drug, to count as his vaccine, and they had to tell him no. It begs the question, all right, so did you guys go back to him and get on him and say, if you aren't vaccinated, you cannot play?
Do you know the rule?
I don't know.
Do you know the current rule for that, Liz?
In the NFL, you have to, well, in the NFL, you have to either be vaccinated 100%, or if you're not vaccinated, you can still play, but you have to go through COVID protocols, including wearing a mask. And if you notice, from August, from the moment he said, I've been immunized, up
Stopped wearing
until
masks.
this week, he hasn't worn a mask for any public appearances. None. You have to, if you're not vaccinated, yes,
Mhm.
again, you can play, but you get tested, I think, at least 3 times a week. You have to go through certain protocols within the team. You also, again, have to wear a mask, and he has not been doing that. And so,
So this
it
issue
again,
spiraled because he caught COVID, or
what
like
do you
how
mean?
did this become a big? How did this become like
Well,
something
he
for
caught
Because
COVID, and then they found out that, and then they indicate the NFL indicated that he was not vaccinated, as he
I mean,
said he
anytime
was.
in the NFL, anytime, or even in basketball or whatever. I mean, he's a huge player in the NFL. He's a
Huge
quarterback of a
player.
team. He's won a Super Bowl. He's won an MVP award.
Mhm.
So anytime someone with that status says, "Okay, I have COVID," it's going to be a big issue. It's going to
Right.
be a big story,
that?
right? But
Yeah.
they were able to go back to that video from August, where again he lied and said that yes, I've been immunized. Then that's when people were like, "Oh, okay." But in addition to that, with this other drug that he said that he took that was supposed to inoculate him from all of the bad COVID out there in the world.
Mhm.
Well, obviously that didn't work either, bruh. That didn't work either because you
So
now
can we
have
be
COVID.
clear that the drug that he's touting is the ivermectin, which is the dewormer that has not been approved by anyone as a COVID vaccine or preventative measure?
In
This
fact,
is some QAnon shit.
the CDC has come out on numerous occasions and said this does not prevent COVID. Is not a vaccine. It's a dewormer.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's a
So there've been a
dewormer.
lot. There's been a lot of calls for his suspension. So my question, I'm asking Robbie, do you think he should be suspended? And if so, how long?
I don't know how long, because I know that the NFL season is short. I think they only play 30 some games, but there should definitely be some penalties to him as an individual, as a player, which is unfortunately going to impact his team, which will then impact Aaron Rodgers' ability to be gainfully employed down the road. And that's what these athletes aren't
He's
looking
right.
at is the big picture. Well, yeah, right. He's rich. He doesn't care anymore. But I do think that anyone within the Packers organization that was aware that he wasn't vaccinated and petitioning for his homeopathic medicine and his measures to be accepted, um, they should be held to account also, because I don't know how much of that information was then trickled down to the coaching staff, to the other players, because Mr. Rogers came out and said, "Yeah, I've been immunized." Okay,
Yeah.
well, if you say that, then sure, I'll rub shoulders with you at work because hey, you're one of the good guys. You got your cootie shot. But now I found out that you're a piece of shit who deliberately misled everyone about this. Your stock has tanked in my book.
Liz, is there a precedence for this type of suspension?
No, I don't think that the rules have caught up to the present times in terms of pandemic and COVID. Um, just to clarify, so for the NFL regular season, there are 17 games, and then there's
Okay.
the playoffs. But even if you think about that, the way these guys interact on the field during the game, they're in a huddle. So they're in each other's faces. They are, coming at each other. The offense is over here, defense is over here. There's a lot of spit. There's a lot of stuff, emanating from your nose. There are a lot of human toxins that are going back and forth. And people, if you are telling people that you are not at risk because you have been vaccinated, knowing all of this, they're putting their faith in you. They're putting their faith in you.
That's the
And when
key.
you sit up there and play word games and play semantics and lie, you're putting other people at risk. So, yeah, I think honestly, if it were me, if I were Roger Goodell, which is the commissioner of the NFL, if I had any balls, which he clearly doesn't,
It clearly
but if
doesn't.
I were the if I were the commissioner, he'd be gone for the rest of the season
Mm,
with a huge fine,
mm, okay.
especially since now he's mocking everyone, right? He's mocking the NFL about the rules and, saying, well, I didn't really lie. And, I'm a part of now the woke cancel culture and everyone's, because this is I blame the media for this. He even slightly came at Kyrie in his response talking about, well, I'm not anti-vax or a flat earther or anything like that. And
Yeah.
then the motherfucker had the nerve to quote Martin Luther King Jr.
Did he?
Oh my goodness, yes. Let me find the quote.
Okay.
Let me
Well,
find the quote.
while you're doing that, Gianni, do you believe he
Shit.
should be suspended?
For the sake of his team, no. But I heard from some friends who are fans of football that they still have backup, like a backup quarterback. So
He'll have
I
a backup.
feel like I wouldn't be mad at him stepping out or getting like suspended. But I don't know what consequence. Like when it comes to that world of sports, I don't know what is a consequence for them. You know what I mean? Like, does it hurt them more to fine them $1 million, or does it hurt them more to sit them out the rest of the season?
Definitely to
I
sit
don't.
them out. I would.
Oh,
Definitely to sit them out. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is worth millions of dollars. Probably at this point, at least 80 million at this
I was
point.
reading he lost an
wow.
endorsement from one of a healthcare company as well.
Mhm.
So he loses money, as this becomes more of an issue.
Okay.
So the quote
And
he
as
used,
But let's
no,
hear
go
that
ahead,
quote.
Ruppy.
Okay. But
The
no, go
quote
ahead.
he used from Dr. King, you have a moral obligation to object to unjust rules and rules that make no sense. Really?
that's not what
Really,
he
bro?
did. I mean, do you think
Really,
that's what he
bro?
did, Rob?
No, because these rules make sense. There's a global public health crisis that's been going on for almost 2 years. So to misquote people or to use their quotes to further your agenda when it's not being used properly, it's dangerous. It's dangerous and it's irresponsible, especially for someone who has this notoriety, for someone who
Is the
he's
leader
an
of a
influence.
team. He's the
But not
leader of
only
a
that, Liz,
team.
think of all of the fans, all of the young players, the kids that look up to him and say, "Holy shit! I want to be like Aaron Rodgers when I grow up." Hey, you know what? You don't have to tell the truth. All right, cool.
Yeah.
And this is with something that matters, really matters. We're not talking about a white lie. We're talking about something that could damage somebody's health. Just
A couple.
because you believe
I
that
still want to know
ivermectin and
why he
homeopathic
lied.
medicine make you immune doesn't make it so.
I
He
think
should
he
have just been
lied
honest.
because I think he lied about it because, again, remember he said he's not anti-vax, he's not a flat earther. I think he is anti-vax.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
why
you
would we
said
even be
you're
It's
here?
not.
bullshitting.
Why would we be
Yeah,
here if you weren't
Yeah.
anti-vax?
Yeah.
yeah.
So
He's
there's some
scared to be
comments
late.
online. Jacqueline Robinson says, fascinating that people would rather take an animal dewormer after listening to a radio show host instead of consulting their own doctors regarding a free and safe vaccine. George
All
Fournier,
right.
people have a choice to get vaccinated or not. Be consistent, take a stand, and state that you're against the vaccine or get vaccinated. Don't lie,
Yeah.
especially when a lot of kids look up to these athletes. Olivia
Mhm.
says,
And
go ahead.
go
As
ahead.
a leader,
You
it's
go
just
respond.
weird.
Respond to that, Liz.
That move.
I agree with George, and it pisses me off because now I have to defend Kyrie. Like Gianni said, at least
Good
Kyrie, in all
point.
of his foolishness and nonsense, at least he stood up and said,
Yep.
I don't want to take it. I don't believe in taking it. I'm not going to
Yeah.
hide behind it. And if I have to be suspended, if I have to lose money, if I can't play in any games, boom. And
Yep.
he hasn't played at all this season.
Yep.
Here you have
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers trying to go through the back door.
Yeah.
Olivia
Worse.
says, but how in the world just saying I am vaccinated, how is it acceptable? Or why wasn't documentation required just like any other job? So someone else is to blame too, which is she's
Yep.
suggesting that the NFL may be responsible. What do you think, Gianni?
Yep.
Mhm.
I agree. I feel like he can't be the only one responsible for it. Yes, he could have been lying to the people around him, but I mean, did he falsify documents? What are those details? We may never know, but somebody else involved, health officials, personnel, coaches, I don't know. I'm not in there, but he's not the only one responsible for
So
getting
one more
by.
question. So, I have a fantasy football league, and I'm watching all of the players. About a third of my players have gone down with COVID. They caught COVID this season. I'll assume that's probably somewhere near the average. So, Robbie, do you think NFL should tighten their grip on the restrictions and requirements?
I think that this shouldn't be just specific to the NFL. This should be for any organization. They need to tighten shit up. Absolutely.
Across the board.
Any of these professional sports organizations, absolutely, because it's a team of professionals. It's a full entourage. It's just irresponsible. It
Yeah.
truly it to have that much money and to have so little sense just boggles the mind.
All right, Lizzie, you got the last 40 seconds.
I mean, again, it just pisses me off because he's using his privilege to get over. And then when people are calling him out, he's blaming it on woke culture, cancel culture, or the media. No, motherfucker, this is you. This is you. You did this. All you had to do was say yay or nay. And if you say nay, then accept the consequences and the responsibility that comes with that. Ain't nobody else hiding behind, yes, I've been immunized when you really haven't. They're just saying, okay, I'm not going to do it. And then I'll sit my little ass
Yeah.
down and keep it moving.
Yeah. Notable.
And he's
All right.
greasy as hell. Ugh.
He is greasy. I'm looking at his recent pictures. And I'm thinking, like, dude, clean up a little bit.
Don't trust folks. Don't trust flat earthers. Don't trust greasy folks who have porn stashes. He also has a porn stash.
He
Don't
does
trust
have a
him.
porn stash. All right. So is this truth, lies, or shenanigans? What are we going with?
The devil is full of lies, people. The
Definitely a
devil is full of
liar.
Lies and
lies.
Definitely a
shenanigans.
liar. He's definitely a liar.
Lies
Oh, yeah, he's a
Lies
liar.
and these
shenanigans.
shenanigans going on with the NFL and stuff too. All right, so Lizzie, straight lies. What was yours, Rob? Lies and
Lies and
shenanigans.
shenanigans, my friend.
Yanni, you going with lies and shenanigans as well?
Yeah.
I think Gianni brought up Colin Kaepernick, if I'm not mistaken. So can we envision? I'm just going to throw this out here to poke the bear.
Go ahead.
What if a black NFL player, pulled this stunt?
Mm,
Mm,
mm. That's poking the bear.
It would.
That might be a whole different topic right
We
there.
can talk about it in the
Yeah.
after show. We can talk about it in the after show.
All right, let's get to our next topic.